Thank you, ma'am. Uh, I called Sister Ivory earlier because of an event that took place last night where it was a room that didn't have any unity. It was full of chaos and disrespect. And when I got off the call, I began to think about why did it get so hostile? And originally, this conversation started with myself, with Sister Light, and brother, what is his name? Not Craig. What is his name? Courtney, brother Courtney. And I believe the young lady goes by Wild Yams was on the call also. So the call started about a seed. And my statement to Sister Light was that we had the seed and they didn't have the seed. So she began to tell me her position on the seed, and I told her no, females don't have seeds. Well, I'm here to clear that I read something and it says they too also have a seed. So we both have a seed. So I wanted to, because I said it publicly, I have to correct it publicly to the sister. Okay, so as far as how we view the rest of it, that's to the side now. But I had to correct that. Then from that point, uh, Brother Courtney brought up Eve seed, and I explained to him that seed would be considered a child. So I thought about it after I hung up yesterday, and it's bigger than that. There's a statement that says, as above, so below, and so below as above. So I had a couple scriptures. I just wanted to read this, and then I'll get into my interpretation of it. It says, the creation of the woman, Genesis 2, and it starts at 21 where I'm at. And the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and then took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh, and shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. All right. Just to interpret that, man and woman in the spiritual sense are two different sides of duality. So man is not just a male or female. Man is the nature of a people. And then you have woman who comes, it's not talking about a people, it's talking about a state of people, which is a fallen or sorrowed people. So this comes out of Adam. So when this is coming out of Adam, he's fallen into a deep sleep. So now the woman has taken over the man at that time. I'll go and read further. Genesis 3:4. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for God doeth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant, to the eyes, and to the trees to be desired to make one's, I'm sorry, this what I'm reading from is small, I'm not on my computer. One's eyes, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and that they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. All right. So, and then it says, I'll go into this and read it all together. Genesis 3:16. Unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception in sorrow. Thou shalt bring forth children. The desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Genesis 3:20 says, and Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. So at this point in time, woe man, not talking about a female. I'm talking about mankind, a state, a type of man which is a fallen man, which is considered woe man. So now that took the place of man at that time and became a living, became in control of everything living. So everything after woe man was going to be cursed and fallen and never to be good. And it talks about in the womb, the travail and the pain and the hurt. Well, the womb is likened to the earth. So when it's talking about this from a universal perspective and not a physical perspective, it's talking about two different types of minds working here. When it says from above as below, what was going on is in the heavens, there had a I don't want to say an argument, but there was a how do you say this? This is where the Satan or the devil or Shaitan, whatever you want to call, was developed from the creator. So it was chaos in heaven. So once that chaos happened in heaven, then that one was sent down to the earth. So now we had chaos in both places. So during this time of having chaos in both places, the creator cleaned up heaven. So one day we would have to clean up earth. So when me and the sister was talking and me and the brother was talking, we was talking about a physical seed. But now viewing this, it's more of a spiritual, meaning the thought and the seed of the mind, not the body. This doesn't have anything to do with the body because we have a good and evil. So I'm going to read this part and then I'll go into it from here. It says Genesis 3:15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shall bruise his heel. And then in Genesis 12:2, this is when I was speaking to the sister and brother Courtney. That's her seed. Her seed is the thought of her concept because she fell. But I'm not talking as in a female, but as in woman, the Lord man side fell. And when that fell, it became evil and it brought evil. So then in the process of Abraham, there became a new agreement through Abraham's seed, not a physical seed. It's a thought seed. And it said, Genesis 12, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. And he brought him forth and abroad. And this is Genesis 15 still. And he brought him forth and abroad and said, look now towards heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. All right. So basically, when Abraham is the restoration of the seed in the above side, not a physical seed, the thought process, because when Eve fell or when the woman fell, it became disobedient. Through Abraham, obedience will come back. So this is the duality of the seeds, but it was never supposed to be a duality. It's just supposed to be one. So when people are given a choice, good or bad, you have the opportunity to do one or the other. That's why when it said Adam and Eve's eyes, it was plural. That was talking about their physical eye, not their inner eye. So they start living from the external and not the internal where they were originally from. Well, he was originally from man, meaning man originally from until woe man came. So when we go back to the mindset of the seed and nurturing the seed and our inner self and not our physical self, thus again is what it means is saying as above, so below. I'll just read something that I had, and then I'll wrap it from there. It says, as above, so below, as below, so above is a hermetic axiom from the Emerald Tablet, meaning that the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, individual existence, are connected and reflect each other, showing a correspondence between different planes of reality. The principle, also called the principle of correspondence, suggests that the universal laws and phenomena on the plane, like the cosmos, have counterparts in other planes, like the human body on Earth. So it's basically saying we have a physical, but our physical is our lower nature. And then we have our lower mind. And then we have a spiritual, which is our above nature. So when we're talking about these people or characters in this book, we're talking about the lower nature. The conversation should be about the man and the woe man, meaning the type of mindset that we have to have. And one of them has to go, because the woe man's mindset, and again, I'm not talking about a female nor a male, I'm talking about mankind, a type of people. That mindset has to be distinguished from us. And we must go back to just the one mindset as man, which I always say, which would mean when we understand that we would become humans again and not lower nature, which we now are like animals. So we have to go back to that. And I'll land my plane from there. And I appreciate everybody for listening. Thank you.
Am I next?
Yeah, lights left.
Okay, brother. So I see that you wanted to take this back to a biblical sense, right? And so I want to ask you a question. Most biblical scholars understand that anywhere in the Bible, the word rib is used as to mean the side of the ark or a doorway. It only applies to Eve in that one scripture. Can you give me a little insight on that?
As far as the rib, I look at the rib as a symbol. So when they use the word rib, I saw the rib as a symbol. And where when you look at a rib, if you stand the rib up and it bends over, it's almost like a person who's lost their countenance. So whenever you're not an upright individual, and you're sorrowed, or something worries you or bothers you, or you're going through something, you'll then drop your head and bring your head down, going to a lesser and lower side of yourself. That's my interpretation of what the rib means. So when I
Okay.
said
Well,
the yes, ma'am.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So when I said the woe man, I see woman as WOE, man, a lesser of man. And that's why it was, because when Adam fell asleep, it never said Adam woke up. It just said Adam started talking because he fell into a deep sleep. So the woe man side of us has been taking over who we are, because of when that one was cast out of heaven, it came down because the chaos from heaven then began on earth at that time. That's why I see it in that way.
Well, I mean, so when I asked you to give me a little insight on it, I was asking you to make me understand why the word in the Hebrew, which is Tsela, would be applied in the Bible to mean doorway or side of the ark, but it only becomes a rib when you are replying to Eve. Now, it also says that it also says that uh God sewed up Adam's seam. I mean, he made a seam when he sewed
Flesh.
Adam up,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So now if you look at a baby's scrotum, do you not see a seam up there? That's the only place on his body that he has a seam where it looks
See,
like it was with a seam, like it seemed like somebody stitched it up the scrotum. All of you men have it.
okay, I think
Okay.
you're missing what I was talking about. When I
No, no, no,
say
no.
eat,
I'm
well,
going to explain. I'm explaining. I'm asking you. I'm explaining to you that is it possible that the rib was never taken? Because If that's the case,
Yeah,
then we would have a man would have one less rib
but
going
that's what I
forward.
was.
Hold on,
I'm
hold
sorry.
on. A man would
No,
have
that's what
one
I
less
was
rib
saying.
going.
I'm sorry. Go,
Uh,
sister. My fault.
go ahead.
No, go. You go. You go.
No, go ahead. Finish.
Okay. That's what I was explaining to you. I wasn't explaining about a rib coming from a man. That's a metaphor. They're using it, and I just explained it as a symbol of a type of being that was coming on earth. So right now, the conversation that I was explaining is not a below, meaning a physical conversation. It is a spiritual conversation. So I'm talking from a higher plane. So when I see the word Eve, I don't put it to a woman. I put it to humanity that is in evening, which means another word for darkness. So I'm not putting that on that in a physical sense. I'm talking from a whole different plane right now.
Can I speak, please?
No, look, and so you, it's like, okay. So I'm asking you, right? Why would you think that the woman is lesser? And you said the lesser side of men, when
No, I didn't
technically,
say men.
if you said man, right?
Yes, ma'am, man. Yes.
So if you say the lesser side of men, and then the woman became evil, and then the woman would have pain when she gives birth, but not every woman has pain when she gives birth.
All right. All right.
Right?
This is no, that was again, you're not I'm not talking about the physical female. I'm talking about the trial and tribulation on the earth. I'm talking universal, not physical. That's why I'm speaking from above and not below. That's why I keep trying to say that so you'll understand what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about woman does not constitute female, because if you go into Genesis 21, I mean, not 20, Genesis 2 or 3, 1 or 127, it says, and he will create him, and then them, male and female. You don't ever see the word woman, and you don't ever see the man again. The man is, there's one man, and everybody else is constituted as male and female. You don't see the word woman, because woman is a type of people, which is a mankind. So when you look at man is original. When you look at what was grafted out of Adam, it was something that was in him that came out of him. And it was a lower side of him. It had nothing to do with him. So that's why it says he was put to sleep, not sleep as in he closed his eyes and went to sleep. He had fallen and lost his consciousness to a sense. This is why when it came time, you don't see the creator telling Eve not to eat the apple or the woman not to eat the apple. It's told to the man, but because he was a lesser being, he was no longer obedient with him himself. So that conversation that's happening, it's an internal thing. And then the physical comes out of it because it fell. And then we started following the physical side of it because now we're not man, we've turned to mankind, a kind of man. So it's on a higher plane of conversation and understanding. It's the two planes of good and evil, but it's really above and below. So that's why I apologized to you earlier when I said, when we were talking on the physical side, I said you were right, because when I went back to look at it, it did mention a female also having a seed as well as a male. And those two cells come together and then they make the zygote. So I'm 100% with you on that. I mean, I understood the zygote part before, but I just never heard of a female having a seed. That's why I publicly said that I was wrong in that case, because I never heard that. But then I took the conversation away from the physical. It's not about physical anymore. It's not about that, because we both have fallen, male and female. So you can't put that on a female. You have to, and a male, you have to put it on the situation of humanity. And man fell to mankind. That's why when it talks, it says that a second Adam must come. And that second Adam is the resurrection and the awakening
I'm trying to
of
get
the
away from
fallen
the
Adam.
clarity that I needed. Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when I got on the phone, you were explaining woman, and you said you say that it is WOE woman, WOE man, which is a sorrowful thing. Woe is sorrow, right? And I just think it's kind of interesting that all of the things that are attributed to woman, you made into something sort of negative. Like even when you talked about the rib, I heard you talk about the rib. The rib was sort of this downturned, sorrowful, downcasted thing. You talked about Eve. Eve was evening, meaning darkness. Woman was this woeful thing. Um, and then you talk about man, who was born apparently or created apparently. I don't know. I guess in his high form. I'm not sure exactly if you could clarify that in a moment. But then you said that when he was put to sleep, then there was a part taken out of him, which was the rib, and that was a part of him that was the lesser part of him, right? And and then he goes on to eat of this tree, um, where he became like mankind, which was mankind was the time what you was equivocating with, where women fell into that category. So men were above, and then womankind or man, the rest the part of the population that women fit into was like sort of lower or below. And so I'm just trying to figure out, why are all of these places where you are putting woman either negative or below the man?
Okay. When I started out saying "whoa, man," that's not just a female. That's male and female. Woe man is a type of people. It's not a you're locked into the physical, and I'm not
Right.
talking about. Hold on one second. I'm not talking about the physical attributes that you've been told means woman. That's why when I just said to you earlier, when it says that he created him, and then had him create them, male and female, you don't see the word woman. You don't see it,
Right.
because woman, that's what I'm saying to you, because that's on the last day. That's the sixth day. So when this happens, that's not 6,000 years ago when male and female is created. That's at the end of time. That's 6,000 years later. Adam had already fallen from man. Not that man constitute male and female also, because it's a type of people. So
Right.
man
I
is
think.
above, not a male. Man is above woe man. The woe man is your lower nature, male and female. So you
I'm
you
sorry,
Excuse me,
I don't
can't.
brother.
understand.
Uh,
Uh, brother, can I just jump in and mention that the word negative is feminine? That word, that's a feminine word. And it's obviously that, you've explained yourself time over time and you've been crystal clear every single time. She clearly has an agenda for women and she cares not for the meat and the context of which you speak. I yield.
Oh, would you like to ask a
well, maybe
question?
hold on. No, what I so we
Would
don't go
you
off course.
would you like
Hold
to
on,
ask me a
sister.
question?
Hold on, sis. So we don't go off text. I mean, so we don't go off script. So we have a
I just
beautiful
got
bill.
here. I haven't been here as
I
long as
got you.
everybody else.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
so the idea that I have missed some crystal clear, repetitious explanation of what you're saying is
Yes,
false,
ma'am.
because I just got here. So I just
I
heard
got
what
you.
he said just now.
Yes, ma'am. And that's why I repeated it, because when you said that, I said, okay, well, she didn't understand the context of what I said earlier. So when you came in from the side of me talking about above and below, and then explaining explaining woman, but in your mind you see woman as only female, and the actuality
No,
female
no, I was
is.
following what you said. I wasn't using any of my own context. I was only using what you said. So when I got on the phone, I heard you talking about you the first thing I heard you saying was explaining woe man. Then I
Yes,
heard you go back into what I believe is what Genesis 126 or 127, somewhere around there. And you were talking about he created them, both male and female. Well, them, there that he created them, both male and
Mhm.
female. That's what you were referring to. And you
Yes.
separated man, and then you said that there was them, which was mankind or something like that, which included, which I'm saying included females. So there was one that was made that seemed like it was separate from the them. So the man or whatever you said first, it seemed separate from the them, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
where the women were included. Then I heard you
No,
talk
no, no,
about
no, no. Hold on. Not
okay,
where the
yeah,
women
okay,
was, because you're using woman as if I'm just talking about female, and that's what I'm not saying. And I don't want you to use that like that because that's not what I'm saying. When
okay.
I said
Exactly.
man, so you understand. So when I
I
said
don't.
man, okay, I got you. So when I was speaking of man, there's one who's going to be on the earth. He is called what is called a vicegerent. Okay, what a vicegerent is, he's one that stands in place of the creator. He's not the creator. He stands in place for the creator because we cannot see the creator. So you'll see this one, and he is
Oh,
not the
that's true.
reason, but the gift that is given back to humanity. So now, when I said that one, that he's separate. Now, from them, it'll be male and female. So as
Right,
above, so below. What I mean, just so you understand. So in heaven, the creator is the hierarchy. There's none above him, and the others are like males and females.
right.
On
I don't.
earth, on earth, there's going to be a man, a physical male. He's not the creator, but he stands in place by the creator,
Right, I
for the
understand.
creator.
So
So
okay, so
then
that's the
that's
part that
male
I
and
was
female.
missing. So I was missing that
Can I
part.
interject really quick?
Sure.
This don't have nothing to do with seeds.
It doesn't. It has nothing to.
Oh,
Right. It
oh,
just
oh.
has nothing.
There's a
No, no,
thing.
no,
Sorry.
no,
Let me
no.
let me
Amira,
back
you're
up.
not wrong. You're not wrong for your line of questioning. That's why I yielded. That's why I yielded to you because your line of questioning is wrong. But what I do want to say is that the other brother came in here and accused this woman of having an agenda for women. And I think that was really. But it doesn't,
But it was
even if
still
I
rude.
speak on, but even if I speak on the whole seed thing, right? Because I still, even though the brother came on here and was respectful and apologized, I still say that the man only has fertilizer, which is
Okay.
water, right?
Yes.
Hold
Yes.
on,
Yeah.
hold
Oh,
on.
go ahead.
So
I'm
I
sorry. I'm
don't want
sorry.
to
Go ahead,
be
sister.
in this conversation that we're having, Brother Duran. I don't want another brother to come in here and make this agenda war.
Yeah, no, I don't control what somebody says.
No,
I'm just
I
speaking.
know you don't. I'm just saying. I don't
Right,
want another brother to come in here and make this agenda war because that's exactly what
right.
he was targeting for. And I
Well,
just
Okay.
think that if we're gonna do that, I
that's
can
not what I
jump
was
off
doing.
this call.
That-
Hold on. Right. Okay. Let
And I'm
me
gonna,
let me.
but this doesn't.
Pardon
But
me. I was just
brother
trying to get
Deron,
understanding
brother
clear.
Can I
Deron,
ask?
I respect everything you're saying, but you're not. You're like you're taking this conversation somewhere that we're not because it shouldn't even been biblical from the door from the beginning of the
Well,
conversation. And I
well.
yield. Amira, you can go ahead and finish your conversation with him.
Can I ask just one
Okay.
question a minute?
Yeah, please.
Um, well, one brother, what did that have to do with seeds? Because if I remember, the topic tonight was seeds, not
Yes, sir.
vice region of God or any of these other things. So
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. What I said earlier, which I believe wasn't comprehended. I said the seed is also what is called a thought. So the seed was the
Oh,
thought
let
of
me change the
Eve
thing.
and the thought of Abraham. So
no,
it's a
no, you're making it
mindset.
biblical again. Remember, they're talking
I'm not
about like
making. No, I'm.
physical
Hold on,
seeds
brother.
here.
Hold on, brother. You asked me
But
a question. Let me
but
finish, though. Let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah. It's not that I'm making it biblical. It's that's how the conversation started. In the very beginning, I explained that we, myself, Courtney, and Light was talking about the seed from the biblical context. So that's why I started it from that context. If you were listening, I moved out of the Bible and I start telling you about the above and below, which is the spiritual context. The spiritual context in the universal context is not bound by the Bible. So what I'm saying, it's a frame, it's a thought process. A seed is a thought. When you plant a seed of what you're thinking into someone else's thoughts, that's also considered a seed. So I was showing you the difference between the two seeds. You have a physical seed, which comes through humans. You have another seed, which comes from above, which is a thought that comes into your head. That's the seed I'm referring to now. And I digress.
Okay, so they're talking about physical seeds. If you're talking about it from a biblical perspective, you would have said zara, which just means sperm. So then the conversation would have been clear. If you're talking about it from a scientific perspective, we're talking about physical seeds, things that come from females, typically, or plants, thoughts. That's a colloquialism. That wouldn't really be a germane to the topic, but I'm gonna let other people, get in there.
Yeah, just real quick, let me respond to Young Command. How are you gonna even think to say what's germane to the topic when I'm the one that brought this forth? So if you weren't there in the beginning of the conversation, then you wouldn't have a leg to stand on how the conversation was going to be directed, because the conversation and the thought, the seed that was planted in my head was not planted in yours. So therefore, if you say that's colloquial, that makes no sense, because when you speak of a seed, you can go look it up. It's also considered as a thought or an idea that comes inside your mind. That's a seed also. So I wasn't making it physical. I wasn't, let me just say this. I wasn't making it about the physical side. I was making it about the spiritual side, which is outside of, or which is inside, but outside of the physical realm. You can't tell a thought to come into your mind. They come into your mind. You don't have that ability.
I think that this conversation has evolved past the first day. Like the first day is not even, it's not part of the conversation that we had last night.
The reason why
Yes,
is because
ma'am. Yes,
Deron
ma'am.
changes his definition of seed. Every time that he finds that he's wrong, he changes the definition of seed and therefore completely changes the discussion.
Okay. Again, I'm not changing the definition of seed.
You have
Hold on. So I didn't cut you up. I waited till you stop. So I just explained to Sister Light that when she said, I talked about the physical seed, and I said to her, I went back and I researched and I apologized to the sister, saying, I found out. Hold on, let me finish, sister. Let me finish. So then I apologized to the sister. So then after last night's fiasco, it had to be deeper. Something deeper was going on. And I couldn't understand why it got so out of control with us as a people that we're arguing about something. So then when I looked at it, I said, we're arguing about it from a lower nature side of us. We're discussing the physical side. And that's why it was, ma'am, I've not cut you off once.
You're right.
Can I finish? Okay, I'm just going to be real quick. The simple fact that the sister's saying that I'm changing the conversation is ludicrous to myself. What I just did was elevated the conversation. I'm not worried about the seed just coming from the physical. My position is to show you that there's two different types of seeds that are going on in this. What I said to Sister Light was, when I first looked at it, I didn't see this seed. And I appreciate the conversation because it elevated my mind to see it in a different way, which through that conversation brought this conversation, seeing that the seed coming from the man and the woman is nothing to do with the male or the female. It's a species and a type of people and who these people are. One is higher, the man, and the word man, which is male and female at a higher conscious state. And then one is lower, which is woman, which is male and female at a lower state of mind. Nobody is indifferent from that because we all come from the same source.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So again, I don't know if anybody who can hear heard him, but he literally changed everything. Like from the very beginning, this conversation started because he was really saying that women don't carry a seed in the first place. Then the conversation persisted until another day, where he was still standing on that women do not carry a seed. We had a whole conversation. We went through anatomy and biology, and then he was proven to be incorrect. Now that he realizes that he is incorrect and he did not have the proper understanding of how a woman's body works, that a woman can be said to have a seed, even biblically or whatever the case may be. You can turn it metaphorically. We use the metaphors in a plant. We talked about the seed in the Bible with the head with Eve and all the things. So to illustrate that a woman can carry a quote unquote seed. And so then he went on, he did his studies, as he admitted to yesterday, and up to yesterday, where now he's saying, oh, I realized that I was incorrect. Thank you guys for having that conversation with me. I was wrong. Women can have a seed, but I'm going to change the definition of seed now, and I'm going to make it about this higher and lower thing, because the whole time he was trying to, the whole time, every time that he's had this conversation, it's been putting a woman in a place that was lower than a man. Every way that he has described a woman in this conversation that I've heard since I've been here has been putting all of the understanding that we understand these words to mean. When we hear Eve, we think about a woman. When we hear woman, we think about a woman. When we think about rib, we think about a woman. All of these things, in every single instance where he's referring to the things that we understand as woman, it's negative. I can go through all the definitions he applied to all those things. Then then even with his explanation that he just gave, oh, I'm talking about a higher self, which is man, and then a lower version of yourself, which is woman, Woeman, which is a woeful, sorrowful thing. So so again, he's steadily like trying to find a way to change the word seed to have a negative connotation towards women, and that's what he keeps illustrating over and over again. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to. That's all I'm saying. No matter which way that he changes it, he's changed it about 4 or 5 times already. But every time that he's changing it, it's always that the woman is lower above. I mean, the woman is the lower, lesser, woeful, sorrowful, dark. These are all the things that he used to describe woman. And so, and the things that he's applying to seed. Now that he understands that a woman can have a seed, and I'm done.
Okay. Thank you.
Well,
Now, hold on. Since that was sent to me, let me respond to that, please. Since that was directed to myself. Thank you. I just want to respond.
Just give me a second to just throw something in there, because
hold on, brother. One second. Let me respond.
You have dominated conversation. That is a true statement.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, but I'm just saying, you have dominated.
I'm just trying to make my point. That's all. Goodness. Okay. All right. So it's clearly that the sister's coming from a lower vibration right now. Nobody said, I literally said that I understood that I didn't know when she was speaking about a seed. I admitted that. So for someone to come and say that he didn't know that, it's already been done. That's already been clarified. I apologize because I saw it one way. Now, the problem is the sister can only see it one way. That's why she keeps talking about the physicality of a woman. Every time she mentions woman, she only sees herself. I have numerous times said, woman means male and female, and it's a type of a kind of people. And then I've said in this word man, it also means male and female. It is obvious that she's looking for some type of argument to not take the time and say, well, what does he mean by this? Or why is he saying this? Instead of bringing combative words, saying that he tried to change it because he was wrong there. If you'd have looked at the topic, it said the dual seed, meaning that once we had that conversation, me and that sister and the brother had that conversation, I only looked at it in one perspective. But then I elevated my perspective on it and said, oh, it can also mean this from a higher conscious level situation. Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but if you cannot elevate your mind to a higher consciousness and you sit in a subconscious mind state, then it will be difficult. But there's people listening and there's people that is getting what I'm saying. I'm not calling Eve a female only. I'm not calling woman female only. And this is exactly what you keep trying to implement. So for the last time, my final answer is woman, Eve, evening is meant for male and female. I just said they both come from the same source. Seed physically, and then there's a seed spiritually, which is a thought, which is how a seed is implanted in your minds. That's a seed. It's considered also a seed. Whether it comes from the Greek word or not, it's just using the definition and the terminology of it. That's all I'm doing. All the minuscule stuff, I'm not even worried about. I'm just dealing from the word seed and what it means. So when I apologize to the sister, I apologize publicly. So therefore, I didn't text her, call her, and do it behind, because we had the conversation. And it wasn't this many people listening when we had the conversation. It was just 5 of us or 4 of us in there. I'm talking to a whole floor saying, thank you. I appreciate that, because I didn't know that the female didn't have the seed. My obligation to my creator is to, whenever I'm wrong, right my wrong. So I don't need anybody to come behind me to try to say that I'm wrong when I already admitted it. So at that point, it becomes a moot point and oxymoron. I've already done that. So then, therefore, in my mind, I see that there's another alternative going on. And I digress. Brother can go ahead. Yeah. The brother could go ahead, because it wasn't nothing to say. I was just trying to clear it up.
Well, let me ask you.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, the brother was next.
Ivory, is this a panel discussion or is this a debate between 2 people? Right, but the issue is the 5 minutes goes out the door when one person speaks, another person responds, and then instead of it going to the rest of the panel, that initial person speaks again. So now that 5 turns to 10. Is that not a fair observation?
Can I say this real quick, Ivory, for the brother?
It's my time. It's my time, please.
No, I'm not taking your time.
No.
I was just explaining how this started. That's all.
No.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Please, brother.
Yeah, no, go right ahead. Go right ahead, brother.
Ivory, please. No. I was just seeing if I made a fair observation with the time in terms of a panel. If it's a panel and everybody speaks and it's a 5-minute situation, and the person who initially speaks responds to the second person, now because it's a panel, the rest of the people are getting robbed because now it's 10 minutes versus everybody gets 5. Is that your observation? Okay, I yield.
If not,
I wanted to have the conversation, but when we start going into this higher spiritual realm, and yeah, even in a higher spiritual realm, that's how these fetuses are produced, because the spirit comes into the woman via the seed in the fertilizer, making it a fetus, and then we grow this baby in our womb, which is the soil. In order for that baby to, in order for that seed to stay hydrated, it is in a sac called amniotic fluid. So it's just the same as germination. And I don't understand in all of it. So even I agree with you, Duran. It is spiritual because we are the only vessel that can bring forth a spirit, make it into a human, and then bring it into this realm.
What do you mean we're the
And I yield.
only? Yeah, I just trying to understand because I mean every living thing has a spirit in it. That's why it's living. So
Right.
any
But
from the animal kingdom,
can
uh,
a spirit come inside of you? You grow that spirit into a human and then bring it into this realm. Is your male higher self capable of doing that?
well, I didn't say I was a higher. You're saying is my male, meaning being a male? Because I think female has higher self also. I think we both have a high above and a low in us. So that's
Of
not
course.
I'm just making sure I'm stating this correctly.
But
I'm
I'm
thinking
asking
we
you,
both
are you capable of doing that?
bringing the spirit inside the female. The only thing I'm capable of doing is
That's not what I
planting.
said. That's not what I said.
Well, what
You're
did
capable
repeat
of
that? Because
planting what? What are you capable of planting?
the male seed that's within inside myself or sperm, whichever way you want to use it,
The sperm
inside the
is
feet.
the sperm is not a seed. The sperm is 50% of the genetics it takes to grow this to create this human. The
Yes,
woman,
ma'am.
the woman, the woman, or whatever you want to call her. Or I
Now
want to call her I want to call her Earth tonight. That's what I'm gonna call her. Earth.
that's where I
The
was going to
earth,
go.
the earth, right, is born with her seeds, similar to when God made earth and he planted every yielding seed. But remember, it didn't, none of it grew until he went with the mist of the water, which would be akin to the man's fertilizer.
Okay. Now,
And now,
hold on.
and
I
let me
thought you.
finish, let me finish.
Go right
And
ahead,
now
sis.
our womb, which is darkness, right? Which would be the soil, the darkness of the soil, carries this, gives it warmth, gives this fetus warmth while it is still being hydrated, giving oxygen and all of these things inside the sac. That is the water that it needs to survive. I mean, I mean, if you look at Earth in the creation story, right, of how these seeds came and were planted, right? But they needed water. It's the same thing as the woman's body, how the woman's body works. So to say that the woman, the man, you can't be the seed and the fertilizer, brother. You have to be the fertilizer that carries 50% of the DNA or the genetics that it takes to grow to create a fetus. You can't be both. I'm not both. I'm only one part. I am 50% of that process. My seeds, your water.
May I may I
And I
Whenever,
comment?
yield.
when you, okay, okay,
Um, just to go and enlighten light, because Japan has no society has ever come back from a 1.2 birth rate. Once you get to, well, let's say 1.3. Once you get to 1.3, that's extinction level event. Japan is at like a 1.1 or something, maybe a 0.9. So is Ukraine, so is South Korea. These countries will be extinct in the next 100 years. You can Google that. So now, what Japan has done as the leader of tech, they have created an artificial womb and replaced women. So when we say, can a man do it? The answer is yes. Men have successfully replaced women in 2025. You can Google that. And history does repeat itself. Black people say that, hey, slavery will come back. The Salem witch hunts will come back because history does repeat itself, and the extermination of women is a real threat. And to replace the functionality of women has always been a global ambition due to the threat of feminism as South Korea. I think we made the movie Matrix about that, where the functionality of a woman giving birth was eliminated. I yield.
Okay.
I
All
want
right.
to respond
May
to
I
him.
ask
I
a
want to.
question? This
Whoa,
is
whoa, whoa,
Cookie.
whoa, whoa!
This
It's
Can
is
my
I
it's
get
my
Cookie.
to wait
turn
a minute? Because
now.
I've been
May I
yielding
ask
my
a
time.
question?
Hold on,
If the
real quick.
sister,
I've been yielding my time. Hold on, I've been
but
yielding
you,
my time.
ho- ho-
I've been letting
ho-
everybody go. I would like to
I was
know.
responding to Light first because the brother went.
Okay,
So then
go
I would
ahead.
have responded to Light. That would have been fair. But if there was another female that was about to speak, I don't want to step on her toes. I want to let her speak because
We
she didn't
calling
get a
we
chance to
calling
speak.
we calling women Earth tonight. That's what we calling them. We referring to women as
I
Earth
just want
tonight.
to
Well,
know.
I just want to know, what does birth rates have to do with seeds, with the conversation at hand? We're not talking about birth rates. We're talking about seeds. I yield.
I think that's the question for Crumb.
Oh, I was simply responding to the notion that it takes two based off technology. That's no longer the case, unfortunately.
So show me where they've ever had a successful artificial womb. I know they've had it with animals, but with a human. I need that information, please. Thank you. And I guess, brother, you could go. Duran, you could go. I yield my time. I just need him to give me that information.
Is this being recorded? Okay. Okay. Oh no, I just was curious. I'm just gonna say what's up, everybody. Y'all sound good tonight. I'm going back on.
Sure.
What?
Yeah, just to bring balance to that last point that I made. So yes, not only has the woman been replaced in terms of the reproductive cycle, but the man has also been replaced too. And though the gender war for me is pointless, it was the man, to whom it may concern, who was replaced first. When I'm sorry. Okay. Um, when the first animal was cloned, they didn't use sperm. They used an electric shock. It was simply electricity. When we were kids, we would say, or the elders would say, I remember when you were just a twinkle in your father's eye, alluding to the light. That twinkle, that light, was the first thing to be replaced uh, in the in vitro process, to where they just shock the egg. Now they successfully replace the sperm and the egg. So if it's worth anything, neither of them going forward will hold too much value.
Can I go behind him real quick? I just want to
Hey,
say,
yo, pause.
I just wanted to say he is making some interesting points. I would like to see some data. I'm not saying he's wrong, but the direction he's discussing is the advent of transhumanism, and that is definitely an interesting topic, maybe for a later discussion. But the brother is making some alluding to some different things that I know is not exactly what was being discussed, but I think it's worth putting a pin in that to bring that back up for future conversations, because transhumanism is a big thing, and the directions and the ramification of which he's speaking on is we definitely need to be in the know about that.
No, I agree with you, but like I said, there have been no artificial wombs for humans. There have been none of that. In vitro fertilization still includes the male sperm. So right now we're not there. But like I said, this had nothing to do with the conversation, just like you said. I'm saying the same thing. And then when you talk about the birth rates in these countries, I want to say one of the countries you named, the reason why the birth rates are down because they killed the girls. If she was a firstborn, the girls were killed. So that's why they realized they fucked up.
I just wanted to say
Okay.
that
Did I get kicked
replacing.
out? Nah, I was talking.
Some
Yeah.
I don't know what
No problem. No problem.
Habaragani. I was gonna say, replacing women will never work for me. I like to clap cheeks. Like sometimes I want to replace the woman I have, but I even hold on to her. And while we're discussing the seeds and the fertilization and the soil, the Donald has got his foot on niggas' necks, and yeah, he's locking up governors now. So at some point, just know that the seed gets fertilized by the egg or vice versa or whatever it is. And let's get to the shit going on around us because it is absolutely freaking crazy out here right now. He's locking up politicians, man. He locked up my man James Comey. That's when I knew it all. All right, let me calm down. I'm sorry. Habaragani
Uh,
sister.
Can can I finish what I was saying? Because I didn't know I got cut off. Do you know where did you last hear me speak? Because I don't know when I got cut off because I wasn't looking at my phone. To be honest.
Duran, before you go, just 10 seconds. I just want to say something.
Go ahead,
Uh,
sir. Go ahead. No. Go ahead,
yeah,
sir. No problem. No problem.
I'll be very short. I'll be very short. The brother.
No.
Okay. I don't need all of it. The brother mentioned artificial wombs. They are working on them for humans. I put a link in the back chat. They did develop the first one a week ago, so he is correct. But you can check out the link.
Yeah, they developed them, but they don't have them for humans. They have not been successful with
No, it's for
humans.
human. It's the first successful one for humans. You can check the back chat. It's a week ago.
Well, I was just asking where I stopped. Yeah, I just don't know where I went off because I wasn't looking at my phone. Do you remember the lesson?
Hey, brother, just jump right back in. Pause. Just.
Yeah, but I don't. Okay, basically, I just didn't want to be long winded. That's my point. But basically, what I was saying was the sister was when she started using the fact that the earth. I was saying that the creator and the creator doesn't need the earth, but the creator created the earth so it can create what we see as the physical. But without the creator's energy, I don't care because the sister said something about water. It just ain't water. It's got to be something electrical going on to give it that spark. And when the sperm hits the female's egg, a spark starts and then life creates. But it's from both of them. That's why I mentioned earlier when you take a plug from a lamp and you have the outlet, neither one of them are doing anything. Although there's electricity running behind the walls, you don't see it. But when you put that plug in there, which would be the male aspect, and the female aspect would be the outlet, then you have electricity because they require both at that time. And then from there, I was just saying to the sister, or I was just saying that it was this statement as if I'm a misogynist or I don't like women, which is crazy. Never heard anything like that in my life. And I've witnessed what you women go through. I have 3 girls, 2 girls and 2 boys. So I've witnessed what a female goes through. I've been in the room when labor happens. So there is no way in the world that myself would ever say that these women don't give anything or they're not worth anything. That's not myself. So I don't put that on my jacket. I don't know who you deal with, who you talk to, but whenever my children were born, I was more than thankful. And
Your
my
sister
children
wasn't on the call, Brother Deron, and we couldn't handle that. No, I was saying the sister wasn't on the call that he's referring to, and we could have done that after the show.
Well, I don't know who's on the call. I didn't see any of that. I'm just making a reference. It doesn't matter if she's on the call or not. She made it publicly, so I'm clearing that part up. Yeah. Go to the next person if he's not there. And he can go next. I think she says she's not on here because that's the one that made the statement. Oh, okay. I thought that's what she was saying.
I'm no longer interested in I'm good, thank you.
Nah,
I just wanted to say that artificial wound is 10 years out, and I guarantee you something goes wrong because it's inhumane. I don't think the creator will allow something like that to take place.
All right, sis, I'm getting ready to tighten up. I appreciate the love. Peace and blessings, sister.
For politics.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence.
In the cold shadows of October, the dead debates rise again. But this time, the champion faces something unholy. Super Pan-Man, the voice of power and reason, the reigning champion of the Versus series. Lucifer, the fallen one, a scholastic master of temptation, the devil in the details. On this night, logic meets the abyss. Souls will tremble. Minds will burn. Night of the living arguments, where even the truth isn't safe, and the champ faces the devil himself. This Halloween, every word could be your last.